Hello everyone. So this video is on acceptance and commitment therapy. I get a lot of questions on it. Does it work? Should you engage with it? Will it help me recover? I guess my starting point for this is that you can recover using the tools, methods, approaches I talk about in my videos, which is essentially not taking anxiety seriously. And because we don't take it seriously, we can allow any thought and symptom. So that's my starting point for it. But I thought I'd answer the questions because there's other modalities, methods, theories. Some have good bits, some have less helpful bits. If you're using it for you and it's working really well and you're heading towards recovery, go for it. I wouldn't bother watching this video because it might confuse you. If you've got it down pat using acceptance commitment therapy, great. I'm not going to personally recommend people do it because I think that what I talk about is far more direct and simpler. But given the questions being asked, I thought I'd just talk about the useful principles of it, but also where it can potentially be unhelpful. I'm just looking up how they talk about acceptance and commitment therapy on Psychology Today, just so I've got the latest process that it recommends. So on the website, it talks about the 6 core processes of acceptance and commitment therapy. So there are some really useful principles behind it, which are really lovely. So the first one is acceptance. Of course, what we're talking about is accepting that you have anxiety. You're accepting that you have symptoms. They specifically say acceptance involves acknowledging the thoughts, fine, acknowledging that you've got thoughts and symptoms, no problem. But then it says embracing the full range of your thoughts and emotions rather than trying to avoid, deny, or alter them. Great to avoid. We don't want to avoid them. We don't want to pretend they're not there. We don't want to try and get rid of them. So yeah, that's all good. Do we really want to embrace them? Remember, it's simply adrenaline and the flight or fight response activating the fear response connected to your thoughts. So I wouldn't say it's particularly helpful to try and embrace them. It's almost like they're saying, sit there and feel the fear and almost embrace it and love it. I mean, I think, the flight or fight response is designed to get your attention. Now, we know that because of sensitization, your flight or fight response is just overactive and it's latching onto everyday thoughts. Rather than embrace them, we don't have to take them seriously. If you embrace them, it feels like a lot of work to me. I've got to sit here, feel have the thoughts come up, all the difficult emotions, and embrace them. We don't have to do that. All we have to do is allow them, go loose, and let them do the thing for as long as they need to. So if the word embrace them works for you, go for it. But it just, to my mind, it encourages people to maybe get involved with them a bit much. So that's my only thought on that one. The second one is cognitive diffusion. Apart from being maybe starting to get a little bit technical and hard to remember, it involves distancing yourself and changing the way you react to distressing thoughts and feelings. Perfect. Yes, this is what Claire Weeks talks about in floating. I talk about allowing. So by allowing, becoming aware of, letting it all happen, we're stepping out of it, almost floating above it to allow the thoughts, difficult symptoms to peter themselves out. It says it encourages using techniques such as observing a thought without judgment, singing the thought, and labeling the automatic response that you have. I mean, look, fine. Do I want to observe all the thoughts? I think it's much simpler and more helpful to allow the thoughts, go loose, and let them do their thing. Do you want to start observing which thoughts are there? I've got this thought, I've got that thought. If we just allow them all, it avoids any temptation to get involved in them, because sometimes what we do is we check ourselves. Is a thought there? Oh, I'm still reacting. Or there's another thought there, oh, but I'm still reacting. And then before we know it, we're off and running down a rabbit hole. So again, the principle makes sense. Do you really want to start observing each thought that comes in? If you just let the thoughts come, you don't have to focus on any individual one. You let them come up, let them go as you go loose. The same principle applies. The third step, it says being present. So being present involves being mindful in the present moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judging them. So it's kind of saying the same thing, um, which can help promote behavior change. So yes, I guess what allowing is being present. No problem with that. Again, do you really want to observe thoughts? We just allow them, let them do their thing and move on. I don't think it's helpful to start observing different emotions, seeing where they're going. Oh, gee, the sensation's in the heart now. Gee, it's in the leg. Oh, I haven't had the leg one before or the throat one before. Probably not helpful to do that because they're designed to get our attention. So if we just accept it's just the adrenaline we're reacting to, we're sort of nipping all this off at the bud. So the principles are aligned, but maybe the methods maybe overcomplicated a little bit. Then it talks about step 4, self as context, which again is a bit of a funny concept. So it says self as context is an idea that expands the notion that self and identity. It purports that people are more than their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. If I've got an anxiety or panic attack, do I want to get involved in making this discernment? Yes, of course you are. You're not your thoughts. Absolutely, that's true. But they're just thoughts. It's just energy. Again, you're just reacting to adrenaline. It's not serious. Allow, go loose, and let them go. I think you can always take this direct path that I'm talking about that maybe circumvents a lot of this. Then step 5 talks about values. So this is all about choosing personal values in different domains and striving to live according to those principles. And this stands in contrast to actions driven by the desire to avoid distress or adhere to other people's expectations. So look, at some point when the anxiety passes, great. Let's have a think about, what's really important to me and what are my values. And I think it's probably unhelpful to try and add them into the mix when you're feeling anxious because you can start to go, oh, gee, I'll never do the career I want. I'll never have the family I want. I'll never have the relationship I want. So look, yes, values are useful to look at, but I would wait until the anxiety is past before you think about what's, joy and all the stuff that you really want to be doing. Yes, that's important stuff, but, I'm not sure if it's that helpful when you're in the moment with the anxiety. When you've got a handle on the anxiety and you're doing really well with it, yeah, sure, let's think about that. Step 6 is about committed action. Committed action involves taking concrete steps to incorporate changes that will align with your values and lead to positive change. So this is kind of where it starts to merge out of the technique to deal with anxiety, to make lifestyle changes, to live more of the life that you want. I mean, that's all great stuff for choosing the life that you want. I would again say focus on that when anxious moments have passed. You've dealt with the anxiety, you've dealt with the obsessive thinking, the intrusive thoughts. Then start to think about how you want to be living your life when you're on the road to recovery. So it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. But if you kind of try and do all these 6 steps when you're trying to just recover from an anxiety attack, it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to remember. And there's a couple of little forks in the road that might get you off track. So I hope that helps. If anyone's having success with it, again, keep doing what you're doing. This is your journey. I would say it's great principles, slightly overcomplicated, and potentially risks getting you a bit more involved at certain points. Just my view. I hope that helps. If you're struggling at all, please watch the Anxiety Cure video series as a starting point if you're new to the channel. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.